All right, good afternoon, sports fans and fellow lunatics. It's your two lunchtime lunatics. I'm David, and this is
Alex.
Alex is in the house today. He was off yesterday, out messing around. Said he was getting his car worked on, but he wasn't, man. He was out messing around.
Hey, man,
So,
you try not having AC in this hot weather we're experiencing here in Colorado, and you tell
yeah,
me if you don't want to get your car fixed.
yeah. And go ahead and move to Arizona, man. Then you
Oh,
can. So. Then you can complain. All right, everybody out there, want to remind you guys of our different social media accounts. Facebook, which we went over 1,000 yesterday, so we got over 1,000 members in our Rocky Mountain Sports Report group on Facebook now, which is awesome. We have an Instagram account, we got a Twitter account, and we have our YouTube account. So please follow us or subscribe to us on those other social media outlets. All right, we're going to talk about some of our sponsors now. Our sponsor for this show is Stoked Fire, the barbecue superstore. They're your barbecue experts since 2020. So they got all kinds of stuff. They got seasonings and sauces, grill accessories, and much more. They sell Rockin' 4D meats out of Fort Lupton, Colorado. They sell ribeye steaks, New York steak, flank, flat iron, tri-tip, ground beef, short ribs, Snake River Farm briskets, Creekstone pork, and Alex's soon-to-be favorite, Wagyu brisket from Snake River Farm. So check
man,
out
I gotta tell you, that's a long list of meat.
Yeah, they got a lot of stuff up there. It's a good shop. I've been up there before, so been up, and they got a good selection of sauces, seasonings, just different accessories and meat. They even have some fresh made butter. So last time we were up there, we bought some, and that butter was pretty darn good. So yeah, make sure you either head up to Loveland. They're at the right by the Loveland outlets off of I-25 and Highway 34, or head on over or to their website at stokedfire.com and do your online shopping there. Anybody that is interested in advertising with Rocky Mountain Sports Report, reach out to Matt Staffiero, and he will set you up, let you know what our packages are and stuff for advertising with Rocky Mountain Sports Report. So also want to let you know that on July 24th, we have a remote event up at Stoked to Fire. So we'll be doing a live broadcast. I believe myself will be there. Alex will be there. Matt Staffiero will be there. Scott Cole will be there. Greg Dudna will be there. And I believe there may be one other. I think it may be Joe Pro from 5280. I'm not sure. So as the time gets closer, we'll go ahead and let you guys all know who's going to be up there. But come out and meet us. It'll be nice to meet you guys. Check out his barbecue shop. There may be some other things going on as well while we're up there. And then one last announcement, and then we'll get into the show. This Friday, I'm going to be out of town, so I'm looking for somebody who wants to co-host with this Alex character over here. So
I promise I don't bite, and we can make it work. So
anybody that may have some time available, go ahead and let us know, and we'll get you set up so you can co-host with Alex. And then Alex will be out July 5th through the 9th, so I'll be looking for co-hosts for that time as well. So, all right, Alex, let's get into it.
We got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, your favorite NBA news. We're going to go there first. We know you love the NBA. And anybody out there listening, go ahead and shoot us your comments or whatever. Let us know who you think's going to win tonight's game, things like that. Game 2 tonight, Alex. Looks like Kawhi Leonard's out. Looks like Chris Paul is not going to go. I believe there's another person for the Clippers. Morris I mean the Suns, not the Clippers, that may possibly be out as well. So I think he's going to be more of a game time decision. What are you looking for in tonight's game for the Clippers to come back and tie this thing up?
It's got to be Paul George. If they have any hope of keeping this series alive, then he's got to step up. And we've seen it in the the second series of this playoffs. He played tremendously, and if he can do it again and he can find a way to score and get his other teammates involved, I think that the Clippers will have a chance to win this game. And if not, could possibly looking at a Devin Booker repeat of what he did in Game 1. So.
Yeah, and I think they need some consistency from Terrence Mann. Terrence Mann in Game 6 against Utah went off.
Mm-hmm.
Game 1 against Phoenix, he ended up with 9 points. So they need a little more consistency from him. I know he's not going to be a Kawhi Leonard every night, but they need to get a steady contribution from him to have any chance of beating.
Well, and just like we talk about in football all the time, the next man up mentality, that's got to be the mentality of these Clippers and even the Suns. But the Suns have a little bit to fall back on. And when I say a little bit, I mean Devin Booker and, supporting cast that has gotten them this far in the playoffs. So I think that the Suns have a little bit better positioning in this game. But that doesn't mean that the Clippers are out of it by any means.
Yeah, I don't think they're out of it, but I'm pulling for the Suns.
This is the story of two bills. One is used to things being
sorry about that. I am pulling for the Suns, and I'm hoping that they can. And the reason I don't want any super team in the finals this year.
Yeah.
And that would be nice to have, like, the Clippers out, the Lakers out, the Nets out, all these teams that built these super teams to win a championship. And it would be nice to have some of these smaller market teams that did it the right way and built it through the draft and the and trades and stuff, and not just going out and recruiting like LeBron does all the time. So, all right. Tomorrow is the Eastern Conference Finals. Those begin tomorrow up in Milwaukee. What in your opinion, Alex, or can Atlanta continue their Cinderella story?
So it's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough, and it's going to have to. They're going to have to lock in, and Trae Young is going to have to play some of his best basketball. I know we've seen him peak during this playoff run, and we've seen him play really great, but he's going to have to do a little bit better against the defense that the Bucks have. Giannis being one of those players, and just that interior of the Bucks is not something that's going to be easy to get past. I know Trae's a shooter, but if he relies on his jump shot too much, he might find himself, shooting 0-5, 0-6, and then then you have to rely on driving to the bucket, and that's a hard place to get when you play against the Bucks. So
yeah, it definitely is. I mean, Giannis is a great inside presence, defensively and offensively. So Atlanta's going to have their work cut out for them. I'm going to predict that we're going to have the Suns and the Bucks in the finals. So
I would not mind seeing that. I want to see Giannis get to the finals, see what he does there.
Yeah, it would be nice. So other basketball news, the NBA draft lotteries tonight. So if you guys are excited to see who gets picks 1 through 16, I believe it is, tune in tonight on ESPN. I believe it's on ESPN at 6:30 tonight. So you can check that out. The big hoopla that the NBA tries to make is so.
Yeah, I don't care. The Nuggets aren't picking tonight, so.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna let Alex attack this last one. Alex saw this morning on
It was with
Stephen A. and
Max,
Max, right?
Yeah. So this morning there was talks about Zion possibly moving locations, and obviously you reminded me this morning that it would have to be a trade deal because he has a contract until the end of next year, I believe, right?
2023. He's
okay. So he's there for the next couple of years. So there was talks maybe he might go to the Knicks, and I just want to kind of get your opinion on that and see what you might have thought, and what they might have to give up in New York to get Zion over there.
Well, that's one thing. The cost is going to be outrageous, I believe. I'm going to say 2 or 3 first-round picks probably.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're New York, do you really want – New York has a lot of places they need to fill on their roster.
Mm-hmm.
So – and it's already tough enough to build through the draft because you only get 2 picks, really. unless
Right.
you've acquired other picks somewhere else, So it's definitely hard, and players that come in the second round aren't normally, guaranteed. I mean, yeah, the Nuggets hit the jackpot with Joker, and he became an MVP. But most players that come out of the second round, they're not superstars.
Right.
And you can get some good role players out of the second round, I believe. But
Well, and we've
if you're
even
giving
seen
up,
people other than Joker come out of the second round and be developed into great players. Obviously not MVP caliber, but they've gone on to be starters on other teams and stuff like that. But it's just few and far in between, So
yeah, definitely. So if I was New York, I just wouldn't do it. I think the cost would be too high to go get Zion. It's going to be multiple players and multiple picks probably. So,
well, then another question to you is: do you let him waste some of his years in New Orleans, and then when his contract is
well, why is
up
that a
there?
waste though? I mean, why can't New
Because New
Orleans
Orleans
build
hasn't
around
been
him?
competitive in a long time.
Well,
They're not.
you don't think they can build around him?
I mean, I do. I think that if they had the right management and the right front office, and maybe even coaching here and there, yeah, I do. But they haven't given me any signs in the last 5 years that makes me believe that they have the right setup to build around someone like Zion.
Yeah, I just don't think that it's the time to pull the plug on him yet. So,
Mhm.
and I really don't think that trade's going to happen. So, we'll see what happens. So,
Time will tell.
yep, only time will tell. All right, we're going to move on to some NHL news. I flipped the game on last night, and it's already 7-0. I said, "Wow, what the heck happened here?" So, I mean, Tampa Bay, the Lightning, laid the wood to the
The
Islanders.
Island.
I mean,
Yeah.
final score of 8-2. They take a 3-2 series lead. The series is now going back to New York. My question to you, Alex: does New York have the heart to go ahead and get Game 6 and make this a series, or do you think this 8-0 beatdown may have just been too demoralizing for them to come back from?
Mm-hmm. Well, my thing is in the past games before they got their beat down, it has been somewhat competitive. So sometimes when you get in situations like this where you go to, they were in Tampa Bay, correct? Or were
Correct.
they in? Okay, so you go to an opposing player's turf and you get beat down. So now they're coming back to New York, right? And if they can, it's a 50-50 chance. Either they're going to be so heartbroken by the way they lost, or they're just going to come out and play angry and aggressive and play the right way. And it's really, like I said, it's 50-50. I think that they're going to make it a series. I think that they're going to come out the next game and they're going to play their best hockey, and they're going to be mad that they got beat that bad. And it may
Right.
not result in a win, but they're going to give it their 100% for sure.
Yeah, and they definitely have to win or the series is over, with Tampa Bay holding the 3-2 advantage. Now, I myself think when you're an athlete, you have to have a very short memory. There's you take, an hour or two after the game and you really get pissed off about that and everything else. But after that, it has to be out of your mind. You have to go home. You have to defend your home ice and force a Game 7. So, and I'm going to look for New York to come out, and it's going to be a scrappy and it's going to be a rough game. And I'm going to pick New York to win this thing 3-1.
Well, you got the score and everything.
Yeah, that's my prediction. So, tonight we have Montreal traveling to Las Vegas for Game 5 of that series. It's knotted up at 7. Fleury will probably be back in the net for the Golden Knights. I just find it hard. I'm hoping Montreal can go into Vegas and win this thing. I would love to see a Montreal and New York finals. I just think that would be awesome. So, but we'll see, how that goes. So, what are your thoughts on that game? Who do you think's going to win this thing tonight?
Well, I think it being in Vegas, Game 7, there's those fans. Game 5, sorry, my bad. Got it mixed up with the last series. Game 5, it's in Vegas. it's going to be super jam packed there, I bet, unless they have restrictions still. Which I mean, even if they do, it's still going to be semi loud. And I think that Vegas is going to bring it, and hopefully they can do what they need to and they can get a win.
Right. So, all right, we shall see. On to NFL news. Boy, what a rough couple of days for some NFL players.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Frank Clark of the Kansas City Chiefs, our bitter rival.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this guy gets pulled over for just some violation. I don't know what the issue was with his vehicle, but he gets pulled over, and the police find an Uzi sticking out of a bag. I mean, come on. An
Right.
Uzi? Why are you rolling with an Uzi, Alex?
There's no reason. It was stated by Clark's lawyer in article that I read this morning that it was his bodyguards.
Oh,
So,
yeah, that's always the excuse, you know. You always
right.
have somebody else to blame it on, but who was all in the vehicle? Him and him alone?
I'm not sure. So,
So he was the only one that I know of that was arrested, and I've read stories and I haven't seen anywhere where it said his bodyguard was arrested either. And has his bodyguard come out and said, yeah, that was mine.
right.
You know, I don't care if it's yours. Why the heck are you rolling with an Uzi?
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere.
Right.
You know?
As an NFL player, you know, and
and even a bodyguard. Do you really need an Uzi? I mean, you expecting to roll up on Al Qaeda or something, or what?
Right. Well, and I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know all the gun laws, but I'm pretty sure that's a semi-automatic weapon. And so
it is, and it's a federal offense that he's facing for illegal possession of a semi-automatic or an automatic weapon and having it concealed, because it was considered concealed because he had it in a bag.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, if you're going to put it in a bag, then zip that bag all the way up.
Right.
You know, so come on.
And don't
man.
have it sitting in your front seat. That's the real
Sometimes you can't fix stupid, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So Zaven Collins, rookie, drafted by the Arizona Cardinals, arrested, 76 in a 35. So this guy's rolling through residential areas going 76 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Not nearly as bad as the gun, but not much better.
No, definitely not. But, I mean, you could be putting people's lives in jeopardy by driving like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what is wrong with these people?
And especially if it was at night, you know, there could be anybody out walking around.
Are they invincible? Do they think they're above the law? I mean,
I think that's what exactly it is.
What's going on here? So,
I mean, in the mentality of some of these players just baffles me, because they probably think that, you know, I'm an NFL superstar, or I just got drafted, nobody can touch me. And that's wrong. You know, I mean, just because you play a sport, just because you're someone that entertains us here in America, doesn't mean that you get to do whatever you want. And it's just sickening to me.
I agree with that 100%. You know, you follow the same laws that I follow.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it just sets a bad example. You know, you got kids who look up to you. You got all kinds of people, even adults who look up to you. And you're telling me that you're going to make it seem okay to carry a gun, to go 76 in a 35. You know, this kind of stuff gets people killed.
Yeah.
So,
and then you have Minnesota Vikings rookie defensive tackle Jalen Tymon, who was involved in a shooting. I mean, he was shot 4 times. And I think, as far as I know and what I've read so far, you know, he was just an innocent person, you know. I think there were multiple people injured during the shooting. His injuries, thank goodness, are non-life-threatening, and the Minnesota Vikings are saying that he will make a full recovery from this. So that is good news. But, I mean, these guys need to watch the situations they put themselves in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean,
and we don't know all the circumstances.
No,
so I'm not going to say here and act like it was something that he did, because, you know, it simply could have been someone, wrong person, or wrong place, wrong time. So
yeah, definitely, and I think that's what it is. So, another thing here is there's been some rumors going around that the Broncos may be one of the finalists for appearing on Hard Knocks this year. Hard Knocks usually indicates that your team is not doing well.
Right.
So
well, and we haven't been doing well.
And we haven't.
We've escaped Hard Knocks for the last 4 or 5 years. So
right, and
I think it's our time.
What do you think of this? Do you think it's an unnecessary distraction for a team that's trying to turn things around?
I mean, so the fan side of me thinks it's super cool. I'm excited if it is true and we get to see the Broncos like in that depth. I'll be super excited to watch it, but at the same time, like you said, it's going to be a distraction. We got a lot of young players on this team. A lot of people who are trying to turn their careers around, and it's just going to cause, with all those cameras and all the media there, it's just going to be a headache for some of these players, and the coaching staff is going to have to figure out a way to calm them down and keep them focused.
I find it as an unnecessary distraction, especially when you got an unsettled quarterback situation where you have Drew Lock, trying to fight off Teddy Bridgewater to maintain his starting job, and somebody had said, "Oh, I like it because we can see, for ourselves how this whole thing's progressing." No, you can't, because guess what? Hard Knocks is going to pick what you see.
Right.
And I'm sure the Broncos are going to pick what you can see as well.
Yeah, there's this funny little room they have at Hard Knocks, or whoever makes it. I think it's
called it editing room.
Right. So
it's not like it's just turn on cameras and we can go flip on like that movie that Jim Carrey was in, where he was just, everything was being recorded and he was on TV all the time,
Oh, the Truman Show.
Yeah, it's not going to be like that, It's not going to be, I'm going to go see how Drew Lock's doing in practice today. No, You're going to wait till the next week, and they're going to cut out what they want to cut out. They're going to show you what they want to show you. So You're not going to get a true indication of what's going on. You can get the same information from beat writers and everybody else that's going to be there attending the practices.
So well, I'll say, the rawest form of our practice or our OTAs or whatever it is going to be going there. If they allow fans to be at some of these practices, then that's cool. But other than that, that's it. That's all you're going to get. So
yeah. So on NFL related, but football related, yesterday the United States Supreme Court unanimously ruled against the NCAA, and they said, you know what, NCAA, it's okay for schools to provide these athletes with additional educational things. So like if you got players that don't have the money and they need a laptop, then the schools can give it to them, anything that's educational related. We know where this is all heading. This is all heading to where players are going to get paid. And I agree that they should. These universities have been using these players for, decades, and getting filthy rich off of these players. And all these players are getting out of it is an education. And I'm not saying that education is a bad thing. But when you got universities that are bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars, each year from their football programs and basketball programs and things like that, I think it's time to start. And you're using the likeness of these players and their names to promote your product, then you might want to turn around and start giving these guys a little bit more. So,
yeah, I mean, let me don't shoot the messenger, but at the same time, you also have to think that even though these guys are making these universities hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars, however it may be, how much it may be, you have to think about how much money it costs to put a non-athletic student, someone who didn't get a scholarship, through college. So like they're paying for not only student athletes, they're also paying for non-student athletes, people who have to go to school without that scholarship, and I understand that them paying for the scholarship and, them helping them get their education is what they're meant to do. But at the same time, I don't think that everyone gets the same opportunities as an athletic scholarship holder,
No,
So,
you don't. But if I'm Joe Blow and I'm going to that school and I'm just there as a general student, I'm not making that university any money like a Trevor Lawrence made for Clemson.
that's very true.
So, and I think it comes to a point where, and somebody brought up a good point. I was listening to a show yesterday, and they said this may be the end of your one and done type things, or leaving school early, because these players are going to have to start signing contracts to attend these universities. And one of them is going to be, hey, you're going to stay here for 4 years. If you break this contract, you're going to owe us back signing bonus money and stuff like that. So the Supreme Court even said to the NCAA, your business model would be illegal in almost every other industry in the United States. So, and I think it's time that somebody, puts the pressure on the NCAA and let them start treating these athletes a little fairer. So, all right, really quick, we're going to kick over to some Major League Baseball news. Not a whole lot going on, but the Rockies do begin a 5-game road trip tonight. They play 2 games at Seattle, and then they're on to Milwaukee for 3. We just split a series with Milwaukee 2-2. What do the Rockies have to do, Alex, to figure out how to win on the road?
I'm at a loss, man. I
guess if you knew, you'd be the coach, right?
Right. If I knew, I'd be taking whoever's job it is to win games on the road because they're not doing it. So really, it's got to start with one win. It's as simple as that. If you can figure out a way to win once and then, take that mold and at least, try and work on it and get better every game as you go, like on this 5-game road trip. Say they come out on their first game and they get a win. Figure out how to keep that winning streak going on the road because that's what's going to help you out the most.
Right. So,
and I know that's as general as I can be, or as it can be, but I don't have any answers for this Rocky team. They're the worst road team in baseball. So,
well, I don't know. Arizona's trying to give them a run for it. I don't know if Arizona's won on the road yet, but last I had heard, they had lost 23 in a row on the road, and the Rockies still had a worse road record than them.
Wow.
I mean, so that's how bad the Rockies are. So I don't know if Arizona
kind of puts things in perspective for this Rockies team.
Yeah, it definitely does. And we got Gomber who's out with an injury, so we're going to miss his start. John Gray's still down on a rehab assignment at Albuquerque, so we're getting thin. Our pitching staff is struggling. Our bullpen is struggling. It
might just be time to throw in the white towel for these Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, I just and I told Matt this yesterday. I hope these Rockies don't get hot and go on a run and save Bud Black's job.
Yeah, that would be the worst thing they could do.
Yeah, I agree, because it seems like every year they go on a little run and people start getting excited and everything else, and and then the wheels fall off the bus. So hopefully it doesn't come to that, in the future. So, all right, Alex, thanks for joining me again today. Everybody out there watching, thanks for checking us out. We appreciate you guys coming in, spending your lunch hour with us. We will be back.
It was awfully quiet today. I didn't get no comments. No questions.
It definitely was. Not a single comment today. So
that's all right. I guess people must be busy on their lunch break today.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right. Well, everybody, thanks. If you watch this later, thanks for checking it out. It's available on YouTube, or you can catch the replay on Facebook. But, hey, check us out. Let your friends know about it. And we will see you tomorrow at noontime, I believe it is. Right, Alex?
Yes, noon.
All right. Everybody, you have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Later, guys.